Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trades Talk Tuesday. I am your host, Pop Culture Mechanic, and in this stream, I do less pop culturing and more mechanicking. So I hope that's what you're here for. And I just want to start out, as I so often do, with looking at what's going on out there in industry. When you look and see which companies are spending more money on their facilities, upgrading, or perhaps building new ones, or maybe some are shutting down. That sort of tells you how the economy's doing. And we always want to have a good economy so that everyone's working, everyone's making money, and everyone is living a good life. And hopefully you can do that by being in the skilled trades, which is very important. As I've been saying for a long time, there is a shortage of skilled trades workers. And those jobs need to be filled. Otherwise, things are not going to get repaired, built, anything like that. The whole world is going to have a hard time if there's less people in the skilled trades. And it's getting worse and worse all the time. I don't think there's as many as there should be. And we got to fix that up. So if you know anybody that is wondering what to do for a career, or if you yourself want to get out of your job that you're doing, think about going into the skilled trades. It is very rewarding. It's a skill that you keep with you for the rest of your life, and it can make you a good living just by going to school, learning a trade. So let's have a look what's going on out there at Plant Magazine. This is what I tune into for some news to see what's going on out there. Now we'll just pick this one here and try it out. Manufacturing sales up 0.2% in January. This is for Canada, so we'll see what's going on here. Canada's manufacturing industry saw a slight lift in January as sales edged upward, the country's data agency said Thursday. Statistics Canada's latest data shows manufacturing sales rose 0.2% to $71 billion in January, led by strength in the motor vehicle and chemical subsectors. Lower prices mean that the muted 0.2% month-over-month rise in manufacturing sales in January was better than it looked, said Stephen Brown, Deputy Chief North America Economist with Capital Economics, in a note to investors. His analysis was based on StatCan data showing sales were up in 11 of its 21 subsectors in January. The Transportation Equipment Group alone gained 4.3%, while Chemical added 3.5%. But the star of the month was the motor vehicle subsector, which had seen 5 consecutive monthly declines leading up to January. The start of the year saw the subsector's sales increased 19.6% to $5.3 billion as production resumed in auto plants that had downtime for retooling in 2023. That strength was largely offset by weakness in several other key sectors. However, with sales of wood products, non-metallic mineral products, primary metal products, and fabricated metal products all down by between 3% and 6%, Brown said. Aerospace products and parts also recorded a 16.7% drop in sales. But overall, January's strong points of the sales ledger were enough to outweigh large-scale declines in primary and fabricated metal products and petroleum and coal products. Kiefer Van Mulligan, a senior economist with the Conference Board of Canada, said in a note, total manufacturing sales in constant dollars rose 1.1% in January. Hey, Godzillionaire. Yep, sales weren't great, but they sucked at least. They sucked the least, yeah. Yeah. Like, reporting on 0.2%, that's nothing that they would report on. What does it say here? Manufacturing sales increased in 7 provinces in January, led by Ontario and New Brunswick, while Quebec recorded the largest decline. That darn Quebec, always dragging us down. Next up, this is a funny one. Canada asking weapons makers for plans to ramp up ammunition production. Canada is giving 2 weapons manufacturers millions of dollars to come up with a plan to make more 155mm ammunition as the war in Ukraine drags on. We did better this quarter by, checks notes, margin of error. Yeah, exactly. The Defense Minister, Bill Blair, made an announcement in a speech to the Conference of Defense Association Institute in Ottawa on Thursday. He said $4.4 million will go to IMT Defense and General Dynamics to develop detailed proposals to increase production. Hey, Gap, how you doing? Nice to see you. We're just going over this article here about Canada's asking weapon makers for plans to ramp up ammunition. If that's the case, that means there's going to be a lot more being used. I don't know if I like this. We've donated tens of thousands of rounds of NATO standard 155mm artillery ammunition to Ukraine, but Ukraine needs much more ammunition. And frankly, so does Canada and the Canadian Armed Forces, Blair said. During a mid-morning panel about NATO, experts from Europe and Canada alike concurred that Ukraine's most urgent need in the short term is more ammunition. Several of Canada's allies have already signed deals to increase their own production. NATO signed a $1.2 billion deal in late January through its support and procurement agency to produce around 220,000 rounds, bringing its total spend on 155mm ammunition to more than $4 billion US. Contributing nations to those agreements will either shore up their own supplies or provide the ammunition to Ukraine. It is scary, Gap, and yes, Godzillionaire, NATO was a mistake. It should have faded away once the Cold War was over. But nope, there are unscrupulous things going on. They shouldn't. The fact of the matter is, there was always an unwritten rule not to put NATO close to the Warsaw Pact, like not to go into certain countries, and obviously they ignored that, and yeah, that's a problem now. That's why this is all occurring. Canada is not one of the contributing nations. In a statement on January 25th, Defense Department spokesman Alex Tétrault said, "We continue to sustain the stocks of ammunition necessary to meet the long-term training and operational commitments of the CAF. Canadian manufacturers produce a variant of the 155mm shell known as the M107, which is shorter range and considered less desirable than the M795. Well, if it's less desirable, why would we keep making it? Like, come on, you guys." Yes, Godzillionaire, yep, I agree. It's all occurring because of the money. Money. Blair said Canada's production capacity is now up to 5,000 shells per month from 3,000 thanks to a $4.8 million spend last year, the first increase in production capacity since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, February 2022. But cost estimates for building domestic production capacity of the M795 rounds are nearly 100 times that. A senior Defense Department official told the House Commons Committee in November that General Dynamics and IMT Defense provided initial cost estimates of $200 million in late 2022 and later revised them to $400 million. Because, yeah, they can just do that. Oh, yeah, it's going to be this much. Nope, it's going to be even more now. That price tag doesn't include any actual ammunition. What? Troy Crosby, the Assistant Deputy Minister of Material, also told MPs on the Defense Committee that industry estimates suggest it could take 3 years to get a production line up and running. Blair's speech and an accompanying news release did not say whether the $4.4 million announced Thursday is aimed at planning for production of the M795 rounds or the M107. Wow, this is crazy. That is just ridiculous. Price tag doesn't include any actual ammunition. How stupid is that? These guys can't do anything right. None of these government guys can do anything right. And honestly, where did it say that? how long? 3 years to get production line up and running? Really? 3 years? Like, come on. Instead of glowing red, Canadian Tracer around just screamed, "Sorry!" It's pretty good. Wait, three years to get production up and running, so they're saying it's all going to last 3+. Yeah, I guess. That's a little disheartening. It's the war that never ends. That's what gets me. Like, after 2001, it's like never ending conflict, never ending war. It just wears on you. The irony and sheer insult of Canadians having to make weapons for countries they can't have to defend themselves. Yeah. Yep. Makes you sick to your stomach. Makes me sick to my stomach anyway. Let's see what we got here. Movu Robotics and Peak Logics partner on automation solutions for warehouses. Movu Robotics, a warehouse automation solutions company, has announced a strategic partnership with supply chain integration partner Peak Logics on an Alta material handling company. This partnership means Movu Robotics and Peak Logics can offer the benefits of Movu's plug-and-play robotics portfolio as part of their solutions for customers in North American market. Since 1989, Peak Logics specialized in providing material handling solutions and warehouse optimization services. The company offers a range of services, including warehouse design, equipment integration, software solutions, and project management. Peak Logics helps businesses maximize efficiency and productivity in their warehouse operations through tailored solutions based on specific needs and requirements. The Movu portfolio is built around a range of subsystems designed to provide easier, scalable, flexible, and energy-efficient solutions accessible for all kinds of warehouses and quick to roll out. These include the Movu Atlas, a pallet shuttle system for multiple deep lane storage, Movu Escala, the roboticized 3D storage and fulfillment system, Movu iFollow, autonomous mobile robots for collaborative picking or transport of load carriers such as pallets, and the Movu Eligo picking arm robot, as well as the appropriate supporting software. The partnership opens up a world of possibilities for us and our clients, said Stefan Peters, CEO of Movu Robotics. By combining our cutting-edge technology and proven solutions with Peak Logic's expertise, we are excited to deliver even greater value and efficiency in warehouse operations. Movu Robotics subsystems are designed with seamless integration in mind, and I am glad that our strategic partnership with Peak Logics will bring automated solutions to more customers globally, helping them meet their challenges and boost their performance, resilience, and service levels. Because our mission centers on solving current and emerging business challenges for our clients, the partnership with Movu enables Peak Logics to provide a new portfolio of powerful solutions that solve operational problems, said Mike Holler. Word salad. That's all I got out of that. Two companies getting together to help each other out. That's about it. And it's only for warehouses, so places like Amazon will be just fine. Alright, that's pretty much it for the news. Hashtag robots will take your jobs. Next up, found this article here. It's on Human Resources Director. Is the $5,000 Alberta is calling signing bonus the right approach? Expert says programs focus too short term. Ontario Premier says he's not worried about losing talent. Well, the Ontario Premier is an idiot if he's not worried about it. And also, who's this expert they're talking about? You want to draw people to the province? Offer them some money. See what it says here. The $5,000 Alberta is calling signing bonus is not going to solve the shortage of skilled workers in Canada, one expert has said. Just a couple of weeks ago, the provincial government in Western Canada announced it is setting aside $10 million for the attraction bonus, which provides workers with a $5,000 refundable tax credit. With the new incentive, the government hopes to attract out-of-province workers in the skilled trades. There you go. They're trying to attract them. Alberta's calling Is She Hot? Only in the summertime. Hey! You mean Cylons? Yeah. Let's see. However, Tricia Williams, Director of Research at the Future Skills Center, in a City News report commented that incentives and credits should be focused on growing the current pool of workers rather than poaching currently available talent from other Canadian provinces. We would be better served to focus on the people that are already in the pipeline. How do we support them to finish the programs they're in? How do we recruit more people into these programs so that we're maximizing the total availability of those skills? Said Williams in a report. Taking a focus that really focuses on recruiting people from other provinces and territories is too short term. Is it now? In 2022, Alberta is calling a $2.6 million campaign highlighted the many lifestyle and career advantages Alberta offers, including higher wages, shorter commutes, and job opportunities. Alberta also launched a phase of the campaign in 2023 focusing on attracting workers from across Ontario and Atlantic Canada. Another phase of the Alberta Calling campaign is coming later this year. Are we talking Battlestar Galactica remake Sexy Cylons? We sure hope so. Instead of focusing on recruiting workers from other provinces, government should be focused on getting more people into the skilled trades and making sure that they complete their training, said Williams. They should also listen to Pop Culture Mechanics, Trades Talk Tuesdays. That's another thing that they should do. Tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. I think that'll help a lot too. I'm not getting any money from the government for this, but I should be. Alberta offers the unique benefit of not living in Ontario. Good one, Godzilla Air. Yeah, that's all right. What we found in our research is that there are a lot of barriers to not just starting a skilled trades program, but also completing it. There's a huge attrition, and people have demands on their time. They can't finish the program. It's not always welcoming to women or new arrivals to Canada, said Williams. Well, first of all, that's a lie. I've been through trade school. Any woman that was there was people were more than glad to have them there. This is dumb. Why would you even say that? The whole country could suffer if these issues will not be fixed, she said. We may need more direct training credits or more incentives to complete programs, more actual matching with employers, and staying really tightly focused on the demands in the labor market. But really, I think Canada will only suffer if we're just competing for the same pool of talent. Okay. Lack of investment in British Columbia. Despite this, Ontario Premier Doug Ford does not think workers in Ontario will leave for Alberta. You'd be surprised. Asked if his government will introduce an incentive program similar to the one Alberta has, he replied, "We do right now when it comes to healthcare workers. We're paying for their education, their books, along with our police officers. We're paying for their education," said Ford, adding he is not worried about losing people to Alberta. I love the people of Alberta, but there's no place like Ontario anywhere in the world, and people are coming here by the droves. Yeah, I'm sure they are for the high cost of living and finding a place to live where it's cheaper here. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as crazy as it is in Ontario or in the lower mainland of British Columbia. There is no place better in the world, and the world is talking about it, than here in Ontario. Yeah, I don't know about that. Meanwhile, in British Columbia, the MLA for Peace River North said people in his riding are considering leaving due to a lack of investment in the resource sector, shortfalls in the healthcare system, and the rising cost of living, among others. Alberta appears to be one of the ideal places to relocate for these people, said MLA Dan Davies in a report from CJDC. When people have the option to move to places like Alberta or Saskatchewan, where they can find good-paying jobs, where they can find affordable homes and lower cost of living, it is no wonder that many are considering this as an option. According to Stats Canada, Alberta has a population of 4,756,000 in the fourth quarter of 2023, up from 4,695,000 in the third quarter of 2023. In the third quarter of the previous year, all provinces and territories recorded losses in their interprovincial migration exchanges in the third quarter of 2023, except Alberta, which continued to have the highest net gains. It was about 17,000, it says, in its population estimates. Meanwhile, BC recorded its highest interprovincial migration loss in 20 years, with 12,800 people leaving the province and moving to other jurisdictions across Canada. British Columbia experienced 5 consecutive quarters of interprovincial migration losses for the first time since the first quarter of 2013. Employers have plenty of resources to hire skilled trades workers, one expert previously told HRD Canada. Okay. It's the number of citizens in metric, you betcha. I myself did move from British Columbia to Alberta, but I did that 20 years ago. And best decision I ever made. The employment situation there was terrible. There was not a lot of jobs, and the jobs that were hiring were not paying very well. So packed up everything, moved to Alberta, and didn't look back. So it's one way to grab people here. I didn't move because of any kind of signing bonus or anything like that, or enticement from the government. I just moved because I wanted a place where there was work to be had. And there was. I got a job in 5 days. So after 5 days of moving here, I put out my resume to places, and I got a call, and I was working a week after I moved here. It wasn't the exact job I wanted, but it was something that could tide me over until I could find something else. Gap, 5 days. And if you guys have ever worked or been around when there's a boom going on, you'll hear some people talk about the boom that went on during that time. It was pretty crazy. Hi, Vina, how you doing? I'm good. Hope you are too. Just talking about the boom times in Alberta here. So, and I knew it was strange because everyone was going to work up in the oil patch, and so that left a big vacuum that needed to be filled in the city. Places like 7-Eleven were offering $700 signing bonuses for people to come and work there. That's how desperate they were for people to come and work at any of these places. They would offer, and it was crazy. People, you could just, as long as you had 2 feet and a heartbeat, you're hired. It didn't matter what your education level was or not. It was just the need, the demand for personnel was just unbelievable. And this was back in 2006. So things were going really gangbusters. Like, living through that was just wild, just to see what it was like living through a boom time. All right, well, as you saw, the title of the Trades Talk, number 72, was How a City Handles Garbage. I know my thing or two about garbage. I worked in the waste management industry for about 15 years, so I know a thing or two about what happens when a city is where your garbage goes and what happens to it. So I'm hoping you'll come along with this journey and I can show you what happens to garbage, what happens to your recyclables, and what the future is of what they want to do with all the recyclables. So let's have a look here. So here's the composting facility. And you guys can see pretty well on the screen. Yeah, that looks good. So the material gets brought in, dumped.
Methanol and ethanol.
There we are. So all the garbage gets collected. There you go. There's the stuff you throw out from your house. You can see it's a big place. Like, there's lots. You got loaders driving around. You got trucks dumping You got excavators picking stuff. Not calling it compost outpost was a severe marketing failure. Yeah, it should have been. They're not very good on creativity. So where he's dumping this right now is down a chute, and there's just a long haul truck underneath here. So the stuff he's throwing out is stuff that's going to be sent to the landfill. Look at those Funko Pops. I bet you people are regretting buying all those, all the stores and everything that bought those, because nobody's buying them anymore. So at this facility, they sort the material because you can't have certain things going down the line there. You have to take out all the metals and like there's some yard waste there, looks like some branches, anything that's plastic, cardboard, carpet. There's carpet. So you try to, you got these guys on the line there and they're watching this stuff go by and they just pick it. There's a tire, right? Picks it, puts it away. Same down here. I mean, people got to be careful, like throwing out propane tanks. Like, how dangerous is that? I know it could be empty, but still, you never know if it's going to get punctured or what. Oh, the Soul Eater opening, yeah. Hey, I like my Soul Eater. That opening is it just slaps. Good opening. So we keep following this stuff along, and it gets sorted. And these are these giant rotating screens. So right here, this guy's walking between two giant rotating screens, which helps sort out a lot of the garbage from the organic stuff. Yeah, there you go. That's what it looks like inside. It's a giant rotating screen with holes in it. Stuff will fall through those holes, and what doesn't gets travel right to the end and probably put somewhere to go to landfill. And it looks like there's smaller holes up here. And I've been inside this thing. I've helped change the teeth on here. So as you can see, there's a rows of teeth here and here all along. They're very heavy. But yeah, it's that chops up and it's supposed to open up all the bags and everything that get put in there, garbage bags, whatnot. And you can see that this thing right here, this is a what do you call it? A mag belt. So it's got a magnet in the center, and it'll pick up anything that's steel and take it out of the stream that they're doing and put it off to the side. Propane tank was empty-ish. Imagine if that garbage screen broke down, you have to get in there and fix it. Yeah, Gap, that's what I did. I worked maintenance in this facility. So that's what I would have to do. There was no imagining it. Whatever had to be done, you got the operators to clean it, and then you went in there and did your work. Hit that like button. Thank Gap. Which smelled worse, recycling plant or sewage? That's a tough one. Sewage, you would, you knew what it was. Like, you knew what you were getting into. Recycling, like, especially like jugs of milk and stuff like that, rotting, like stuff that just wasn't cleaned out properly. Yeah, it would be more nasty, I think, than actually the actual sewage plant. Here, let's see. That mag belt. Now this stuff is heading off up this gantry way. This is the compost. Okay, this is all the stuff heading to the composting facility. There it is there. So that's the composting facility. And it has, as you can see, there's lots of wood chips and garbage, and all the organic materials are there. These things were neat. They would put a mixture of biosolids, which is human poo, and wood chips, and they would mix it up together and spit it out as a mixture. So those things were pretty neat. And then the garbage would get put down into these rotating drum digesters. Now, I've been inside one of these things to help reline the inside because the abrasion is just unbelievable. The wall thicknesses start at like 1 inch thick, and this was down to about I think 3/8 of an inch thick. So a lot of erosion, a lot of the abrasion from the material. Bike ride? You're gonna lurk mode? Okay, DJ, no problem. Hey, Kitty Bear, how you doing? Bio waste is the worst. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that, buddy. But yes, I have been inside one of these drum digesters when it was emptied out. And they spin at 1 RPM. And it takes about 3 days for the trash to travel from one end to the other. And it gets to be about 60 degrees C inside there, so it helps break down a lot of the garbage. And you can see it rests on these giant trunnions. Like, these things are huge to support this entire thing. And I don't know if they got a good shot of it. Oh, not really. But right here, you can just barely see it. There's the motor for this and gearbox. And I think it's a 500 horsepower motor. And then the gearbox gears it down from 1700 revs to 1 RPM. And then there's the bull gear, which is connected to the gearbox. There's the gearbox, and then it goes to the drive gear, the pinion, and then the big bull gear that helps drive this thing. That is a lot of torque, Godzilla. You got that right. And you can see there's a sign on there. It's got a little radiation sign. That's because they would use, I think it was cesium-127 or something like that, to see the level of how much garbage is inside here. So that was that's what that was all about. And there's where it goes into the building. It comes out and it has these 4 doors. As you can see, they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. And those are the doors that would open to let the mixture out onto the conveyor belts. And there's one there. And that's what it looks like when it comes out that end. So it's broken down quite a bit. And then it goes up to these, there's dual rotating screens. Once again, screening the material, take out the big stuff and leave a lot of the littler stuff behind. And you can get a good shot of it. You can see it falling around in there, almost like a dryer or washing machine. Every home here has a bio container, a paper container, hazard container, and a just trash container. You're still wondering after 20 years why no metal and glass container? I don't know, Kitty Bear. That seems like a no-brainer to me. Glass and metal would be exactly what you'd want. So yes, the rotating screen sorts it out. There's another mag belt. You can see it catching stuff and flinging it off there. Let's go back a bit. I just want to... Yeah, you can see all sorts of things. Lids from cans. There's a lighter there. Lots of lids. Nails. Silverware. Sometimes guys would come and stand down here and look for quarters or loonies, which is the Canadian dollar. So it'd be like a dollar coin. You'd be lucky if you found one of those, but mostly it was quarters. And then you can go use them in the vending machine in the lunchroom. You have metal and glass near the stores, but you're not carrying 40 to 50 kilograms of glass. Yeah, I hear that. They can come and get it. Now here, this facility is no longer around. This was the largest stainless steel building in North America. And it has 1, 2, and 3 of these large holding bays for the compost. So this thing is about, I think, 600 feet long and 80 feet wide. So the material that we saw going through the screens would get sent along this conveyor and put into this bay, where it would take 21 days. And the reason it would take so long is because this machine has 2 giant augers on it, and it would move back and forth, all day, 24/7, just aerating the material and moving it along. So you would start at the end where the conveyor is, and it would get moved along until it reached the output conveyor. So that is how that would work. And we would have to change these augers every month because, once again, the abrasion of the material would wear the metal down. It's unbelievable, but the amount that it would wear these down is incredible. And there were times when, before we got onto our regularly scheduled program of changing them, pieces of this would break off, like big pieces, and we'd have to go inside and fish them out. So you'd have a piece of auger in there, and you have to hook on with a come-along and pull it along with this machine until you could get it to the end where you'd lift it up with a crane. It was pretty crazy. If it was made out of titanium, would it last longer? Is that not an option to use titanium? Nobody ever thought of titanium, but it's also really expensive. So we used something called Trimay, and we would get the welder to weld up the augers and hard surface it with Trimay, and that's how we would try to get them to last. They would last a month, right? After we got on the program of changing them every month, because there's 3 of them. There's 3. There's one bay here, one bay over there, and they have weather bay farther off. So we get into a rhythm of changing this one in a month, right? Change the next one, and then change the next one. And it was quite the process. It would take about 6 hours to change both of these augers, because you have to use your crane. You have to get, you have to use a scissor lift as well, and the guy has to loosen them off, and crane operator has to lift them down, you set them down, roll them away, roll in new ones, pick them up with the crane, put them up there, get the guy to secure them to the flange. It was a major operation that I was involved with a lot. Oh, titanium has different fatigue properties and isn't something you can apply a hard face into. Oh. See, that's why we have Godzillionaire here. He knows this stuff. And there we go. So this is a little better shot. So as the material gets moved, and you can see it forms windrows. And you can see here that we have a paddle wheel that is moving that last row onto that conveyor. It's dropping it right on there. And that's going to be sent to another finishing screen. And there it goes. Yeah, there's a little better shot. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, there you go. There's and there would be a constant stream of water just to sort of keep the dust down and water you didn't want this stuff to get too dry because it would start on fire. And I have been there when they have had these things start on fire, and you got to get the hose out and start spraying it down. So compost is pretty bad in that regard. It gets dry, it makes its own heat because it's breaking down. That thing there, hang on, I just want to show you guys. This thing here is called a tripper car, and what it does is it rides along this conveyor, and it has its own little belt that shoots things 90 degrees. So that's how you get from the long belt over this wall. You use a tripper car that shoots things at 90 degrees. And it rides along there. You see how it can ride back and forth just so it can make nice even row. So here, this is where This is where that stuff that was in that bay gets sent to now. This thing is called a star screener because all these little fingers on there are called stars. And it helps sort the stuff out. Obviously, the big stuff is going to float on top and get sent somewhere, and the bottom, or the lighter stuff, is going to fall in between, and it's going to get sent for processing to here, where it's the finer stuff gets loaded up onto a truck. The truck takes it, dumps it outside where it can be cured. And here, this fellow is going to show you a scoop of what it looks like. And that's the compost. I wouldn't say this was the highest quality, mostly because there's a lot of glass and metals in it. So it was never high quality stuff. They'd either use it for soaking up oil or just using it for like new construction. So yeah. But that's what happens for compost. And I have pictures of that place on the inside. Those of you that have been around have seen them before. Hang on, I'll just got to do this here. Yes, there's a picture of the drum digester. Wintertime. But they put there's a crack in this thing, so they stopped using it. So the city didn't want to pay $1 million to redo it, so they just left it. It was their own fault for not keeping track of it. Let's see, oh yes, right here. I got some good pictures of being up on the machine there. So this is me on top of that machine that you saw with the two augers. And I'm getting pretty close, high up to the roof here. That's how large the machine was. And you can see how far away I am from that wall. I think I'm about the midpoint. And there's more picture of what's underneath when you look down. That is the compost loaded in there. There's the two augers. That's a little better shot of inside. So you can see them. They're very bright. With that, because of all the abrasion, it just shines them right up. And yeah, they're just connected on with like 12 bolts along there against that flange there. And they could lift them up and put them down, whatever they needed. There's a shot from the other direction. So there's the overhead door. There's the end of the conveyor. And yeah, you can see all these windrows. Oh, I got some video here. Hang on, should be able to make it bigger. Or not. There we go, zoom to fit. There you go, get a little bit of action shot. Things are moving along. You can see, if I go back, you can see that there's some material wrapped around there. A lot of cords and stuff like that would get wrapped around here. Some of these would get really plugged up, and we'd have to pull it out, and go up there on a scissor lift and cut all the garbage off these things. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, there you go. This is actually the shot I used in my opening intro video for this stream. But yeah, that's that is that. Next up is recycling. A lot of misconceptions about recycling. Pop Vision. So recycling. This is the recycling center. And yeah, there you go. Truck backing in. Gonna unload all the cardboard and paper and all the metals. And there you go. That is it there. And there, from there it gets pushed with the loader. They must be chatting about something in there. There we go. So that's the same place. That's the same floor that they dumped all the garbage on, you can see. Or not garbage, recycling. And, you know, everything gets tossed into recycling apparently. So this guy, first of all, you're picking up something without gloves on. You're an idiot. You know. Secondly, this guy has never been out on the floor in his life. Nice new jacket, nice new hat. You know. I don't know the guy, but like you're an idiot picking stuff up with your bare hand here. You don't know what's on there. Okay, there we go. So there's a lot of sorting going on. Has there been any innovations in the recycling process? I'm glad you asked that, Gap. Yes. Robots have gotten to the point where they can discern what things are on the conveyor and knock them off. So what these guys are doing by hand, robots can start to do now. So they're grabbing it. So there's paper and stuff, but they're grabbing stuff that is not paper or is not supposed to go through there. And they'll have a specific bin to throw it in. So cardboard will go in one bin, metals will go in a different bin, right? All this stuff here, tires, the propane tank, all that, it's not supposed to go in there. And yeah, look at how high those piles are. That loader had to climb that pile just to get it up there. So I have pictures of that place as well. You guys, on for a moment. I do believe I have. Yes, there we are. You guys see that okay? There we are. Remember, kids, always wear your gloves. Yes, always wear your gloves. You don't know what you're grabbing. You don't know what's been thrown on there or what's spilt on it. So there it is. There is that loader we saw. This is what happens when something breaks down, though. When something breaks down, your pile starts to come out your door, and they just keep dumping and dumping because the trucks don't stop. People don't stop throwing things out or recycling things, and the trucks just keep coming. And this is one of the storage areas. And I believe we had to put some steel plate on the wall here. Yeah, because it was getting beat up pretty bad, so they wanted a steel plate on there. So we're like, okay, let's get the crane. So we got the crane, of which I was an operator of, and had to reach up and over the conveyor belts, pick up this piece of plate, as you can see right here. It's being held by the plate clamp, and we're using the skid steer to move it over into place. And then the welder would pop in there and he would secure it to the wall. There you go. There's a shot of it there. That's pretty good. You can see all these little dots here. That's from all the dust. That's the particulate in the air. Pop Vision Part 2. Part 2 is right. Yes, and the places are huge, Gap. They have to be. For a city of almost 1 million people, it's I think the facility was too small. I think because it was built in the early 90s, and then they didn't have that population, and they just didn't keep up with the infrastructure. The building should be way bigger. So there we are. We got 2 pieces of plate put together. It's hard to see because it's a blurry photo, but the holes here are what the welder uses to secure it to the beams. That's a little better. Yeah, there you go. Also from this place, there's a lot of wear and tear, especially on balers. Balers are what crush all the material and make them into little cubes. Hey, what's up, CRC? How you doing? Good to see you. We're just going over what it's like in the recycling center. Here is a larger star screener. This thing, I've climbed inside of it, probably because we have to repair one of these shafts. Occasionally the bearings would fail or the shaft would break, and we'd have to go inside the machine and lift out the old one and drop in a new one, which took a long time because this thing is like, I don't know, 7 feet long, about 6 inches in diameter. Heavy duty stuff. And then there's just like the random pictures I take from some of the things that have happened. I can get into that stuff later on, but the most thing what I wanted to get to was the fact that these recycling places are just sorting places. So they sort out cardboard, paper, metal, glass, plastic. Just on by to say hi. I appreciate that, CRC. You have yourself a good time at, I think you're going to be on Rancor Steve's show pretty soon, eh, Manorama? Yes, Godzilla, you remember the missing keyway. That was, I'll bring that up next, a little, in a couple of streams. We get some more people that haven't seen that one. But yes, that is the recycling center. And then one more facility, and I didn't work in it, but it was right next door to us. This is pretty fascinating. So once again, they're dumping out on the floor. And yeah, they're sending that away. There's that rotating screen again. They got a better shot of it this time. Yeah, everyone's sorting the stuff out. Look and see this here. Videotape. I just hated videotape because it would always get wrapped around all the pulleys and just make a big mess. It would get caught up in the bearings. And every time, you'd always have to take your knife over and cut a bunch of videotape, which is super strong. And now this is not composting. This is not recycling. This is turning all the plastics and such into ethanol or methanol. I can't remember which one it was. But this facility, that's what their goal was, to turn all this stuff there in that guy's hand into either ethanol or methanol. I can't remember which one it was, but this is funny too. Look at this picture, this big long conveyor that goes from there to there. See how high up in the air it is? You see what's missing? They have no catwalk on this conveyor. You can't work on that conveyor. Look at, there's no way to get beside it to work on it. It's like, you guys, the designers should get punched out for this. Like, you don't do that. How, so the only way they could do it was either a genie lift, like an aerial platform, or scaffolding or something like that. It was just, that's just the most terrible design ever. And I'm glad I never had to work on that. But yeah, this place, I think it heated it up and tried to turn the plastics into liquid. Let's see. Let me see if I can hear what they're saying here.
Is first heated in a low oxygen atmosphere. In Enerchem's green chemistry program,
yeah, they're heating it up.
Waste doesn't burn, but the chemical bonds holding the material together break, releasing the carbon and hydrogen in them to create a synthetic gas.
Breaking it down, making syngas. Okay.
This syngas isn't the final product. It still needs to be cleaned, then converted into chemicals and biofuels like methanol and ethanol.
Okay, there you go.
Ethanol can be turned into all sorts of things: fuel, plastics, paints, windshield washer fluid, or glue. And ethanol is blended in the gas that runs our cars. The facility is going to keep up to 100,000 tons of waste out of our landfill.
It says it's going to keep up to 100,000 tons of waste out of the landfill. That's when the thing runs properly. For the time that I was at the facility next door, I think those guys were lucky if they even ran 8 hours straight without any trouble. So this might just be pie in the sky thinking from those guys.
City buses. And it will provide 38 million liters of ethanol each year. Blending it with
38 million liters of ethanol, he said.
percent rate, that's enough to fuel 400,000 cars. So, we're not only creating new products from the city of Edmonton's waste, we're also creating new opportunities for cleaner energy in Alberta.
Of course, this was uploaded 9 years ago, so they really had their heights set high for this to be the next big thing, but I don't think it working out so well. Sounds like some commie gobbledygook, Norm Macdonald. Oh, Norm, what a great guy.
Keeping waste out of landfills.
Yeah, no, these they were hoping, and it just didn't work out. I don't think they did enough research to figure out whether it would work or not. I think somebody on city council was just like, "Oh, that sounds awesome. Let's throw money at it." But yeah, so those are the three things. You got your garbage, like your municipal solid waste. You got your recycling, which is just sorting, not recycling. Because after these things are recycled, well, instead of telling you, I can show you. I got the pictures. Show you guys what they would do with them. Show you some good ones though. It's got a lot to sort through. There, is that a good one? Yeah, that's a good one. So these are all bales of paper, and you can see over there in the background is bales of cardboard. And this is what would happen to all the things that got sorted at the recycling center. You can see they're all held together with wires from the baling machine. That's actually the corner of the baling machine right there. So this is what you would get. You'd get bales and bales of cardboard, plastic, metals, paper, all that kind of stuff. There's some over there they would store. Some over there. This is a garbage episode, eh, DJ? Yeah, I thought so. Talking about what I know about, and I know about garbage. On the safety aspects here, see this exit sign? They're usually over top of a door, right? Well, so is all this garbage. That's not right. That they can get in a lot of trouble for that. So you've got the door covered in garbage and nobody has cleaned it away. So. And there's another shot of it from the other side. So as you can see, just unbelievable the amount of recycling things that material that they had everywhere. This is the baler. This is the thing that actually ties the wire around it as it comes out. We covered the fire exit so the zombies couldn't get in. But yeah, this is what would tie the bales. And there's a shot from the side. So a lot of pretty intricate machine this is. A lot of hydraulics and everything like that. Everything has to work in time with each other. We were always counting on the operators to try to keep it clean because that was our biggest enemy, was dirt and material that would get in there. And of course the occasional broken things would come up that we'd have to repair. When you're in maintenance, you gotta try to repair everything. I don't think I got any more bale shots. I do have some interesting pictures though, and I can tell you about every single one of them. So the loader drove over the floor so much that it scraped it for all those years that you can see the rebar being exposed. The rebar that's in the concrete when it was poured has been worn away so much that you can see the rebar. And it's like, wow, that is a lot of wear. Yes, Godzillionaire, that is the rebar in the floor here. Like I say, this facility was built in the 90s, so it's had that much time of wear of the loader bucket scraping the concrete that it eventually scraped it down to the rebar. Yeah, there you go. You can see there's one there. I'll get closer. There's one there. There's one there. There might have been one there. There's one there. And there's one there. And when they would finally give up, like the rebar would start sticking up, they'd call us over to take a cutoff wheel and cut it out. And they'd get back to pushing their recycled material around. So yeah, you can see there's a very distinct layout pattern of there, and there. Just look at this. It's unbelievable. We're like, hey, can you keep those guys from, putting the material all over the conveyor belt? Like, get it on the belt, not on the side. Because this thing here is for fire suppression. So you knock that off, you're going to get water everywhere. The fire department's going to show up. It's going to be ugly. You're going to have just a freaking lake of water where you don't want it to be. And yet they're piling stuff up here that can fall on there and knock the sprinkler heads off. It's just ridiculous. They're going to scrape themselves to the center of the earth. Yeah, just amazing. I believe we had to repair this guard here on the baler. Yeah, it looks like it. They wouldn't admit it, but they probably smacked it with the forklift. We asked what happened, and they're like, oh, we don't know, it just fell off. And we're like, uh-huh. Yeah, it just falls off. If the fire suppression system goes out, the guys doing the shoveling get a break. Not an easy sell. Yeah. There were times when e-stops would get pushed, but we would, there's so many in the facility we couldn't find it. So it was anybody that wanted a brake, and this would happen. Guys they'd push the e-stops just so they could get a brake, and then we'd have to come out and look what the problem is. And then we wouldn't find anything, and all of a sudden the line would start up again. So it's like, oh, you guys just wanted a brake. Okay. Yeah, that's probably it right there. It's probably that hinge. The hinge broke, or they hit it with the forklift, because look at that scrape marks. They creamed it with the forklift, and then they left it on the side there. We don't know what happened. A bunch of liars. Oh yeah, wing pulleys. Yeah. That's getting your money's worth out of that pulley. It's worn down to nothing. It's not supposed to look like that, by the way. It's supposed to look like that. It's supposed to have wings on it that support the belt. It's probably the tail pulley. But now, it's got none because it wore right out. I wonder if I got the other baling machine. No, I think this is back to... There's the main belt that loads everything into the plant. I think it is. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Crack in a weld. So this thing's been repaired so many times. This is the main pressure cylinder for the baling machine. It's the thing that does the compacting, that compacts all the material together. And that is a crack in it. And that crack goes all the way around. So that is a major work to do and repair that again. It's more weld than metal at this point, yes. Like, look at that. They just made that thing super wide, but still it cracks because of the pressure. And they were too cheap to get a new one. They might have eventually, but I don't know if I was around for that. So yeah, another crack. Yeah, it's this they got new balers eventually, but they were in bad shape. Once again, bales of cardboard just waiting to get shipped out. And the bales would originally get sent to China, but I think China didn't want them after a while. So after that, I don't know where they went. I don't know where they were sent. Where did the bales go? I like I say, Godzilla, they used to go to China, but then I think China didn't want them. And then after that, I don't know where they were able to get rid of them from. I took a picture of this because the loader operator is pushing the pile so high that it's getting up to the mezzanine. So that's crazy. It's like, look, knock it off. Stop pushing stuff up here. You don't have to push the piles that high. Just a mess. As long as it leaves our country, it's green. The Earth totally isn't a closed ecosystem, local only. Shut up, you science denier. Yeah. Shut up, you science denier. We're green. We do green stuff. Oh, we got cracks in I believe this is the grapple bucket. Or the claw, or whatever you want to call it for the excavator. Big crack in it. Looks like they repaired one there earlier, and now they got to do it again. But see how smooth and shiny the surface is? Once again, that's the abrasion. It's amazing that just something rubbing on something will just make it nice and shiny. And I've seen rubber conveyor belts wear through steel. You would think that that's not possible, but a rubber conveyor belt can wear through a piece of steel. And I'm not talking small stuff. I'm talking like, 3/8 of an inch thick. I just think I had to take a lot of photos of this just to show them that they need to get that welded. It's also amazing how sharp abrasion can make something. Yes. Like razor sharp. It can get that steel so that it's just, well, that's what they use for straight razors. They use a rubber strap, don't they? And they just do that, and it's supposed to make it like, look how shiny this table is. This is the bottom of a table here, a conveyor. There should be rubber on top of here, but the rubbing has made it nice, almost like a mirror finish. Just showing all the different there's where the piece of conveyor got caught, and this is so sharp that it just cut it. I think we're fixing that up too. Yeah, there, once again, rubbing, it's just rubbing on there, but it just rubbed it away and made it razor sharp. A lot of belts had to be held together with mechanical splices. Well, with all that rubbing, it rubs the mechanical splice. It can rub the pieces of it right off so that it's got nothing to hold on to anymore. So how a mechanical splice works, it's got these pieces here, these fingers, and then it's got a wire or a cable that goes through the middle of them so that it can be flexible. These are belt clip seams. You are correct, Godzillionaire. And you can see the cable there, and it goes, and because this piece is not there anymore, it's pulling away, and it has to be changed out. Fortunately, we had spare clips. You could just remove this nut, remove that nut. You have to pull the cable out first. Find a good spot to work on it. Pull the cable out. Take out the old clips. Put in some new ones. Feed the cable back in. Secure the ends of the cable, and then you would be good to go again. And that would be like a whole night job for us. As you can see, it's the time there was 7:55 p.m. So yeah, not a very good looking. And then when we were talking about rubbing away metal, there you go. That's the bottom side of the belt that it rests on this metal piece, and the wear, it's just wearing it paper thin. Ha! Somebody smashed one of the emergency lights. It was either hit by the loader, or probably the loader, or the garbage that it was pushing around. So they just had to cap them off. You think this is something that these pictures don't accurately convey, just how many man hours it takes to change and to fix some of this stuff? Yes, I can attest to that. A lot of the jobs would take, 4 or 5 of us. We'd have to work a whole 12-hour shift to get the job done, or hand it off to day shift. Or if we work days, we'd hand it off to night shift, depending on. But yeah, it's the man hours is incredible. You see that, all that paper, all that cardboard, just stuff that would just fall off the conveyors, right? So it would make a big mess. And so I was taking pictures to show the management, like, hey, your guys aren't cleaning up. Like, we have to try to deal with this, and this is a fire hazard. Like, we're trying to do our work, and we have to walk through all this material. Look at that. That thing is just full of paper because it's going to the other baler. I believe it was a bolograph. So there's the one baler. It's all clean. Material goes in here. So it drops off of this conveyor. It gets compacted one way. Or, yeah, it crushes everything. Then the door opens, and then it gets pushed out, and then the wires wrap around it and tighten on. Welding around old loose paper, what could go wrong? Yeah, woof. Big fire hazard. So there's the control room for it up there, for the baling machine. You could look into the chute where it was dropping. There's a better shot. I guess I turned the flash off. But yeah, that's a little better. So as you can see by the time, it's like 5 minutes after midnight. So everything is nice and clean. Yeah, US wire tie systems. There's the other baler. So this was the 2-ram baler. And then this is just a single ram baler, which is a different design. The material goes up this conveyor, drops down. A topper comes and creates a chamber, because it's like a trap door. It opens up and then it closes again when there's enough material in there. And then there's a big ram at the back that just pushes it ahead. And it pushes it. And you can't see them, but there's like 5 wires wrapped around it. This provides the pressure down on it. And it just keeps pushing it through, and then it can tie off once it gets to a length, which is about 6 feet. So it gets about 6 feet long, then the wires get tied off, and it gets pushed along and out. And there's actually some of the wires that are used. So yes. The 2-cylinder one, yes, I'd have to wear ear protection. Around this one, no, not so much. This one wasn't bad as far as making noise. The single cylinder wasn't as bad. Yeah, there's another shot of it there. So there's the wires. You can see them. And there's another shot from the back. There is the ram. The ram is right there. Control panel. There is wires back here as well. And then the trap door I was talking about is right here. So it would, once it reached enough level, a sensor would open this. It would let all the paper fall in, and then it would close and form the chamber where it would get compressed. Quite a neat operation. I should have got some video of it. It's a very neat operation of a baler. This is a video of a bag ripper. It's out of sync. It's not running properly. We kept telling them to bring somebody in, a specialist, because we didn't know how to get it to run properly, and they wouldn't do it. So they would tell us to go and fix it. We'd go and screw around with it and try our best. And that's what would happen. So we would just wait for management to make the right decision. But yes, so one set of knives would spin, and then the other set would stop. And that action would rip the recycling bags open, which is the whole thing. Bag slicer, that's his whole purpose, is to rip open recycling bags. Yeah, it's not running quite right. There it is, looking through the guard, just watching it from a different angle. His arch nemesis was 4 turtles. Here's a little point of view tour I did the one night. I'm like, you know what? Let's take a tour of this whole facility while nobody's around. So I hopped out there and grabbed my camera and went for a walk. So right now we're walking by all the storage areas on the left. You can see there's a bunch of plastic bottles just laying on the floor there. We're coming up to the baling area. On the right-hand side is some of the bales that have been completed. Left-hand side is the baling machine. There it is there. They just left a bunch of bales there because when the whistle blew for those guys, they just dropped everything. Pop Vision Part 3, you got it. I'm just looking over the baler a bit. There's the large, this was the large cylinder, the large ram with the crack in it. And then over there is the other baler. And you can see that there's the paper that it would compress and tie up. And they would make the workers tidy or clean up the bales to make them a little better. That's what this area was. They put them in this area for them to make them a little more square and pull out anything that wasn't supposed to be baled into them. Salary workers literally dropping everything at quitting time. I'm shocked. Yeah, hourly. That's right. Yeah, that's okay, Godzilla. I knew what you were getting at. And we're walking along over to the I was just looking at, I'm surprised at the mess. I wanted to show this to their bosses and be like, look what these guys do. Look what these guys leave us with. We are expected to do our work here with these guys leaving the place like this. So, let's see. What am I, a narc? No, I'm just a tradesman that wants to work in a clean environment. Like, how they got away with doing this is disgusting. I don't want to work in a filthy place like that. They should have, it's management's fault. They should have given them like 15 or 20 minutes before the end of their shift to clean up the place. They had the manpower there. They could have done it, but they didn't. And then we have to come along and work in it. And there's to the right there is the hydraulic pack for the outdoor compactors. I can't remember, but I might have headed out onto the tipping floor where they took everything. There you go. I'm like, look at this. I can't even make it through safely because There's just garbage there in the way. That'd require management leaving their office. Would you like a unicorn instead? That'd be easier. What color do you want your color do you want your dragon? Red. Yeah, I get it. I get it, Godzilla. I think we're getting close to the end of the tour here. There's our scissor lift we would use. And then there we go. That's it. That's the tour. Okay. I think this is the guy showing us the new baling machines. We got new ones. But I think I ran out of camera battery, or the battery on my camera ran out, so couldn't get a lot of what he was saying. But that's for another time. There you have it, everyone. That is what happens to your garbage, what happens to your recycling, and what they want to do with some of your and some of our plastics and such, turn them into methanol and ethanol. So, and working in those facilities, a lot harder than a lot of people think. It's like when you throw your garbage out, you don't care what happens to it. You throw it in the garbage, you throw it in the bag or the box or the whatever, the bin, throw it in the bin, set it out on the curb, and as long as it's gone when you get home, you're happy. But this is what happens after the places it go. It might be different in the cities that you live in. They might decide to incinerate the stuff. Maybe they have a better system than what we have here. Honestly, I thought composting was the way to go. I'm not too impressed with the recycling center because it's just a sorting center. It doesn't do anything about recycling. It doesn't find new uses for used cardboard or anything like that. So that's where I think it's that they don't take it seriously. Is if you took this seriously, you would find ways to use your, let's say, the paper that is in those bales or whatever, or cardboard. You would be coming up with things to use them with, not just shipping them off to a different country, which is what gets done. And as far as that ethanol, the plastic to ethanol and all that, I don't expect it to work very well at all. Like I said, when I was there, I was told that they were lucky if they could run for 8 hours without any trouble. So, anyway, let's start wrapping it up here. Just want to thank you guys for coming out here. Godzillionaire and Gap After Dark. And of course, Vina, it was great to see you too. And DJ Ronnie G and Kitty Bear. I know there's others around here. I thought, yes. And of course, the Comic Relief Crusader, who's probably off at doing Manorama right now on Ranker Steve's channel. So yes, that was it was great. I appreciate you guys all coming out. I'm very grateful. It makes it such a good stream to have everybody come out and learn a little bit. Yeah, you have a good night too, Vina. It was great to having you. This will be a fun replay. You had to attend a service earlier. Oh, well, that's no problem, DJ. Enjoy the replay, buddy. And remember, everybody, spread the word. Tell your friends. You know, the skilled trades is very important. It's something that that needs to be stressed a lot to the next generation, and hopefully it will happen. I'm very I'm a big proponent of having people go into the skilled trades. They spread the word to the younger generation. And if you find yourself in a job where you don't want to be and you're thinking about changing jobs, maybe change a career, go into the skilled trades and see what's available. Come talk to me. Come and talk to me. I'll gladly talk your ear off about the skilled trades all the time. You learn a lot every show. I'm glad, Gap. I'm glad. This is a break from all those other channels that talk about all the other stuff out there, all the stuff that's like, Be Sweet Baby Inc. and all that kind of stuff. I get tired of hearing it over and over and over again. I want to hear some different stuff. I want to learn about things. I want to, hear about different stuff. Yeah. So please do me a favor, slap the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. There's other good channels out there too, people that I personally watch and enjoy, like Pacific 4 and Blaine's Escape Corner, he is probably on right now. From what I understand, I think it's his Gunpla stream. There's Ronin66, there's DJ Ronnie G, who was in the chat as well. There's Brandon the Anime Guy, who I thoroughly enjoy watching his show. There's Angry Canadian. He does an excellent job of his streams. I like his Lego streams and his music streams. There's Whoopa as well. He does some nice chill streams. And Punk Waddle. Who can forget our favorite penguin, right? I have a Discord. It's called The Shop because that's where all the tradesmen hang out. We hang out at the shop. Coming up Saturday, game stream, playing some Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure in honor of Akira Toriyama. Definitely have to play a game. And it's my favorite because it's young Goku and his adventures against the Red Ribbon Army. Just having a good old time. And it's on the Game Boy Advance, so it looks good and it plays good. Coming up on Sunday Anime Chat. March is Magical Girl month. So, you want to see some more Magical Girl shows, maybe some you've never heard of before? Tune in. I'll talk about some obscure ones and some more popular ones, because, that's what people like. They like the popular ones. So tune in for that. That's a good time. And then at the end of the month, we'll probably open mic on Sunday Anime Chat. There's 5 Sundays this month. So the 5th Sunday, the 31st, that will be open mic Sunday Anime Chat. Hope to see you all there. All right. Yes. It was a fun time. I hope you had fun too. And I hope to see you all on Saturday. Until then, I've been Pop, and I am... Oh, hold on. You sort of showed some of the funny workplace mishap gifts from your community. Oh, nice. Thanks, DJ. I like that. I try to pick some good ones to give people a laugh, It's might hold royalties. Royalties. Those are cool clips. Oh, there's some pretty harsh ones out there. I've got some in reserve there I can bust out when I have to. But yes. It was my pleasure tonight, everyone. Until next time, I've been Pop, and I am signing off.